Hello and welcome to the Slapshot Syndicate podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and whilst you're at it, go and follow our social media pages. They're on screen now. Now, on to the episode.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Slapshot Syndicate. Another big week, lads. We're drawing close to the end of the season. We're officially past the halfway mark and we're on the downhill glad. How do we feel about this week's fixtures?
Yeah, all to play for still, innit? Right around the league. It's been a bit of a feisty weekend. We've had a tight couple of games. I know there's been a couple of tight games elsewhere and a few antics going on. So, yeah, plenty to talk about. Yeah,
so obviously we've had that first round of semi-finals, so we know who's going to the final of the Cup. More fixtures, more fighting, more goals. What more could we ask for?
Exactly. Not a great deal, I don't think, boys. There's only 10 weeks to go, isn't there, the season, which is mad to think about, really, when there's over 20 games or whatever left to play. But yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? And semi-final was definitely one to chat about, so I've got plenty to talk about this weekend.
Yeah. With that said, then, let's jump straight into the episode.
Seahawks! Seahawks!
So, fellas, Hull Seahawks this weekend, double header against Milton Keynes. You know, the last time we played them was at their place. There was a bit short, we had a few missing, but we came out with a 3-1 win. Hopes maybe high going into the away game on the Saturday. I was busy doing other things, I think you was out as well, so that left you to watch the game and report back. How was it?
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, like you said earlier, we knew it was going to be a tough couple of fixtures this weekend. Both teams being relatively inconsistent at the moment, so this had goals written all over it, to be honest with you. But yeah, honestly, I don't think the score reflects the game at all. I think for the most part we were better. We outplayed MK. We seemed to have a lot of possession. They were holding us off really most of the game, which was a nice sign to see. To be honest, there was some good plays between, especially our imports and that. So I was quite proud of it. I think the only criticism I've got of it was that again we just seemed to get caught on the counter a bit. I don't know if it's a bit of overcommitment at the moment, trying to chase goals and stuff, and that's what happens. But we was getting caught at the back, and they've got some quality players in them. They've got Jordan County, Sean Norris, Dom Gabai. Like they was all firing on all cylinders, and and they've also got a lot of pace as well. So when they were breaking through, it was very difficult to try and get back and stop it. But all in all, I was very impressed with the Hull Seahawks. I think we showed a real character in that game. We showed some good quality at times. It was just again one of those things of where the puck don't hit the back of the net. But you could also argue, is it the quality of the shot? But for me, I didn't sit there watching it thinking, can't believe we're doing it again. It felt like, oh come on, we're getting it. We're gonna get this goal.
Felt sort of like a matter of time.
Yeah. And even when we pulled the net towards the end, to try and go for it, I felt confident as well with the six skaters. Sometimes you think, okay, well, this screams of an empty net goal.
Yeah.
It didn't for me. It felt like MK knew that we were pushing for it, and there was some tired legs on their side. So it had a bit of everything this game. It had goals, it had a bit of brawn. So we'll go into some of that, I think. Did any of you see the clips towards the end of the game?
I saw these clips, but I want to know the context behind it, really, because obviously it's easy to look at that and just think it's a one-moment thing, but what do you think, in your opinion, obviously, if the cameras caught it, what do you think was the cause of that? Like, was it chirping? Was people going at each other through the game? Like,
yeah, it was a bit of that. I think it was waiting to boil over.
Yeah, just bubble a bit.
Yeah. They were at Bobby for most of the night, and in fairness to him, he kept his head for most of it, in my opinion, from what I saw. But it was gonna kick off at some point. You could certainly sense that, and I don't know the ins and outs, but it looked to me as if someone must have said something on the bench towards the end. So Bobby's gone over to have a word, say his piece, which I suppose you got to, as the captain of the team. You can't stand by and let that happen. So whilst he's having words with Spadafor, It was, I forgot what it was now.
Patrick
Forsberg. Forsberg comes in and cross checks him to the back, bit of a dirty shot.
Against all people as well. It's a bit of a bold move, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it is important to note it and who was involved in this, because as we'll come into it in the home game, it did follow over pretty immediately into the home game for Hull Seahawks. And great to see it like kick up as well to defend yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair to Bobby, like you said there, he's got this reputation of being this hothead. Oh, let's wind Bobby Chamberlain up, blah 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 blah. But the fact he's kept his head for that long, you can't just ignore that kind of thing all game. He's not a mug. You know what I mean? There comes a point where he's going to say, like, if you want to sort it out, let's sort it out. Like, I'm not going to be made to be look like an idiot by you lot. And I back him for standing up for his team, standing up for himself. It's all right shouting from the bench and waving your arms about and stuff like that, and coming in from behind. Like, it's not a good look, that, for me. And I might sound biased because I'm a Hull Seahawks fan. To be honest, I don't really care, but based off what I've seen there and what you've said in terms of the game, I don't really rate it from MK, if I'm being honest. And that might upset a few MK fans, but again, I don't really care, because if I'm being honest, like, have a bit of that about have a bit of roughhousery. There's nothing wrong with that, and I think that's what won them the playoffs last year. Fair enough, they did it in the right way as well. But we're not seeing that this year, are we? It's just like, I know I seem like it might seem ironic that I'm complaining about this kind of behaviour when the Seahawks are notorious for it, but from the way I looked at it, I didn't want a big fan.
I agree, because there were plenty of chances, to settle it on the ice. A few of our players. It was a tough game because it was hard hitting.
Yeah.
You could see both teams were
doing it in the right way.
Almost felt like a playoff game in some respects, because everyone was going for it. But there was plenty of opportunities to settle it on the ice, and I have absolutely no doubt that Bobby would have asked the question and said, if we want to do it, then let's do it. And Spadafor mainly is probably the one that didn't want to do it. And I'm going to say that because clearly he didn't, because he was the one chirping on the bench. But afterwards, if you're gonna do something,
it's not his first rodeo, though, is it?
It's like hiding behind your friend, isn't it?
Yeah,
you idiot.
I think we've seen a few things over the season where Spadafor's been a bit of a gobshite, to be fair. And I think that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
But when you're stood on the bench yapping away, and then somebody comes in and blindsides you, it's like, get them. Let the two people who are giving it just do it.
It's an interesting one, isn't it, as well, because there's a lot of opportunity there for Spadafor especially in the home game. There was all night for him to throw the touchdown, and we know he's not shy of doing that. Let's be fair to Spadafor as well. Like, he'll fight and stuff like that, but it's like in the home game, and we'll get into it later. But he got a penalty for smashing Bo Reader after the whistle, like the littlest kid on the ice. Like, what is that a thing that he does? Does he not want to go after Bobby Chamberlain because he knows it'll go head to head with him? Like,
what's that about? On the ice, knows that no one's going to come and protect. We're going to sound a bit controversial tonight, aren't we? But I think that's from what I've seen. That's what I've seen.
I think there is a bit of bias there, because it is a bit of housery on behalf of MK. But going into this weekend for me, and you both said it through this, and that's why I sort of smiled, is this to me was a do or die if it was a playoff game. So as we've mentioned, probably off camera more than we have on camera, is looking at the final four for Coventry. At the minute, you can't see anybody but Swindon, Leeds and Sheffield, leaving one space in one of the groups. It could come down to a tie like this.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think you've got to almost get in that mindset of, if this was a do or die, what would you do? And if Seahawks had performed that exact same housery at the Hull Arena, we'd have been lapping it up.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
When you're receiving, you're giving it all sorts. I agree with you both. I don't agree with it whatsoever. But when you're the other team doing it and it pays off for you, you're going to be absolutely lapping it apart.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean? But for me, I just saw this one as a double header, pre-playoff sort of games. I was interested to see how it would play out overall, not just individuals.
Two teams that could very realistically be in that stage.
It could be one of us who is playing for that last spot.
That's true.
And that's why it was an intriguing one for me to see how it would play out both home and away, because Milton Keynes have got a terrible away record, so how will they perform at home? Seahawks got a bit better away, but mixed bag at home as well. So it's just interesting to see how it would play out, and it didn't disappoint realistically in the end. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
It like I say, it was very high paced. My overview is the game did not reflect, what was going on. The score wasn't reflective of the game, but there were some clear cut chances that MK got, and I think they were just little bit more clinical with theirs. Just a shout out as well to Jack Musil. Getting his first goal as well.
Moose.
Whilst in a Seahawks shirt, yeah.
Love
You're
that.
dying to get that
I
on.
love that. We need to make that a thing, Seahawks fans. Every time he touches that puck, Moose.
It's that awkward one where it sounds like a boo though.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, the stats that you can see there, the statistics for the game, and then how we pretty much doubled the shots of we almost did
43 to
double the shots of
20 shots more.
MK, yeah. So it just shows you where the momentum was going. But credit to MK where due, their PK was very good. And they obviously with such little shots they've been quite clinical with the chances, so you got to give credit to that. But it was interesting to see all the antics, knowing that it was a double header and it was going to come down to the game in Hull the following night.
Yeah, so those that didn't watch this one, it did end 6-4 in favour of Milton Keynes Lightning, and then we rolled over to Sunday night at the Hull Ice Arena, which, if you'd have told me about the first two periods before the game even started, I'd have laughed in your face and says, grow up. But some performance first two periods straight off the bat. Let's just go in with that.
I'm gonna bring my old saying back here. It did feel like men against boys.
That is a throwback.
So yeah, but it did, didn't it? We were absolutely firing on all cylinders, and to be honest, the way we was playing, we looked like we'd be a team that would be very difficult to beat.
Is it outrageous to say those first two periods was probably the best hockey that we've played this season?
I said
100%.
exactly that on the night. I was like, this is the
100%.
best I've seen us play
Yeah,
so far.
1000%. They was ruthless, weren't they?
Passing was slick, little
Yeah.
touches, nice little manoeuvres to control the puck. It was just all sticking.
Yeah.
And John Edley in goal was absolutely all over the place,
Yeah,
wasn't it? I've
yeah.
never seen a goalkeeper having to throw himself left, right, up and down on front of the puck. He was everywhere,
It
wasn't
could have
he?
been double figures by the second period. didn't it?
Absolutely.
Like it looked bad going into the second intermission,
Yeah.
but Headley made a lot of saves as
He
well.
did.
I would be interested to see what his save percentage was, because
He
I
was
bet it was
rinsed.
still high 80s,
Yeah.
Even though obviously he's conceded the amount that he did. But yeah, very, very interesting.
He was absolutely peppered, and we were slick fast. And it didn't take long, did it? 2.5 minutes in, and we're already on the scoreboard. And I think then we went on 5 minutes, maybe got the second one, and you just hang on a minute.
Oh yes.
2-0 up in 5 minutes against MK.
The man, the myth, the legend.
So I just want to talk about something. Obviously, it comes down to just even watching the warm ups. So I noticed. I don't know if you guys did, but across the blue line, Bobby was working the blue line. Then Forsberg came up, and it looks like he was having a nice gentleman's little chat. Don't know exactly what was said, but I imagine it was along the lines of, you got one there last night, but we need to settle it tonight. So first opportunity, we need to drop them and have a go. Lo and behold, first opportunity, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this was 0-0.
Yeah.
This was at 0-0. So they weren't on the ice to begin with, both of them. As soon as they was, which was 2 minutes later, a minute and a half maybe.
Easy.
They're both on the ice. I overheard Bobby said, "Right, you ready? You ready?" to him, and it just goes bang. Gloves dropped, and yeah, it was a nice spectacle. Everyone was up waiting for it and knew it needed to happen. Those boys, they obliged, and very disappointing to see the refs jump in so early for me.
Well, for me, sorry to interrupt you there, but it was almost like Forsberg was just the way he gripped Bobby's arms. It was just like he was holding on until the referees came in. It was like I don't even think Forsberg threw a punch.
He knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I need to survive this as best as I can.
Wriggling away as if when's it coming? And I think Bobby maybe ended up landing like 2 or 3 punches, not through lack of trying. Obviously, he was wriggling about, and you can't just jump in like that if you're in a fight, because they'll just pull you down or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a shame, wasn't it?
Yeah, for me it felt like the fight was getting going. Like there was there was weighing each other's up. They both grabbed each other. It was a little bit of to and fro, a bit of a wrestle, and then before it looked like it was about to sort of start separating and punches start to get thrown, the refs were just in stopping it, and you think like, why can't you let something like that play out? Like they've both been
from the context of the night before.
Yeah.
You know that's going to happen. Surely there must be something where you'd look into a double header as referee and go, right, that kicked off last night. I need to be aware in case that fires up again.
Yeah.
More for player safety as anything else. You need to just sort of, there's a bit of emotion in the game, but I just need to keep an eye on them too.
But in with respect to Forsberg, he obliged. He knew what needed to happen, and they dropped his gloves. So they both knew. They both knew what they was in for. And for me, that should have just been left to at least let it play out. Even another 30 seconds. If we got 30 seconds more out of that, I think. More. Yeah, no, it would have opened up. Something would have happened, and it was just a shame. Both players, maybe not so much Forsberg, but I felt like both players went to the penalty box disappointed with the fact that got stopped.
I don't think so. I think Forsberg knew what was coming, and I don't think he wanted it personally. And I've been told that apparently he's never fought before. So fair play for having a crack.
First fight is Bobby Chamberlain.
Is it? But
more than other people.
In the same instance, if you're going to go around and start cheap shotting people from behind,
absolutely,
does he think he's not going to get a
fight?
fight?
You got to expect it.
I don't care if you've never had a fight before. You start doing actions like that on the ice, you're going to get leathered.
Yeah.
We said exactly the same not long back with Berlin, Picozzi for Leeds. You do things, you're going to get it. Simple as that. Regardless whether you think you're a fighter or not. Stupid games, stupid prizes.
100%.
Yeah, but nonetheless though, like that happened. They both went to the box. Bobby looked disappointed with the fact that the refs did jump in so early, but it did its job.
It energised us, didn't it?
Yeah, you're right, 100%.
Got the crowd going. We was all behind, and while sat in the penalty box, lo and behold, Jason Hewitt comes up with the first goal. Bang, 1-0 Seahawks.
And
then, not long after, who else scored, Al?
No, you say it. You say it. Alexander Kent, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, Alex Kent getting a goal for the Seahawks. I don't know if it's his first goal, is it?
Of the season, maybe his second, probably his first of the season. But yeah, I think Huey said it in his interview after the game as well. I think he said that, considering the amount of injuries and sort of stuff that we've got at the moment, he said the line of Musil, Hare and Kent he said was one of their best lines of the weekend. So I think fair credit, and I think although Kent does get a bit of slack, and he's not Owen Sobchak, is he? Let's be fair. He does graft a lot, so I think for him to get a goal on the night was nice. I was really happy for him.
Yeah, I think it's a nice payment for the work he puts in for the guys, and he does do a lot of the great stuff. Like you can tell him to do a job, and he'll go and do it, and he'll do it to the best of his ability. And if that means you sat on fourth line and you're not going to get much ice time, he also does that.
Yeah.
So you got to give credit there. So it's nice to see him get a goal, and then the floodgates opened.
Well, we got obviously to the end of the first period, 3-0 up. We're still joyous, but there's still that little doubt in the mind. We still need to go get the next goal in this game.
If they get the goal, then it's a bit like,
But lo and behold, we did, and we didn't just go get the next one. We got the next one, and the next one. End of the second period, I think we're 7-0, 7-1 up. 7-1.
We went 7-0 up, didn't we? And then Crow, this was his first game as well, and up until that point, I thought I'd had a really, really good game. And afterwards, to be fair, I don't think the scoreline probably reflects his first game as in between the pipes for us, because I thought he played really well.
2/3 of it, you saw what he's good at.
Unbelievable,
Very good at stopping the puck.
The catches, the confidence. He sort of stopped it when he needed to, let it roll. I really liked it, and when he conceded that goal, it was a disappointment for him. But I think he almost was also like, right, well, the pressure's off now for this. Need a shutout. So 7-1 end of the second, wasn't it?
7-1 end of the second, looking like potentially the biggest scoreline, biggest result we'll get of the season so far against a team which are not really mugs. Let's be honest.
Last year's
two teams of inconsistency, but still
last year's playoff champions.
Yeah, and you're 7-1 up end of the second. But then the tide changed.
Yeah,
it did.
Quite drastically.
It was interesting.
Heavily.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Because it was either like not the wheels had fell off, but like they'd knackered themselves out, or I don't
dropped too many gears.
Or maybe just come out and been like, we're going to smash this 12-1 now. Or, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know which one it was. I think, to be fair, with the amount of effort they put in, it was probably the former, where they just run themselves to death, smashed all these goals in, and was probably a little bit knackered.
Still a bit of poor game management though, innit? In reflection to what happened.
Yeah,
It's alright absolutely gunning it like that and going 7-1 up and thinking, job's done here. Like, you know, let's put our feet up. But then with what happened afterwards, you can't then justify it and just like, yeah, well, we sort of run ourselves ragged. You can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you just can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, in playoff games and stuff like that, it'd have been a scary moment, wouldn't it? But if there was been more on the line, you'd have been like, oh no. Well, yeah, and you know, that's when emotions and tempers can fly. So thankfully, it wasn't just regular season. But I think it's a good bit of practice for us for that end of the season. You know, managing those big games and right, this is where we went wrong. This is what we need to do next time. Like, I know Matty and the boys have a look at video a lot, and you know they'll be able to identify that. But yeah, it was a worrying. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when it got to like the last couple of minutes, it was 7-5. I was a bit like, oh, like if they get a goal here, it's absolute game on.
Did you not just find it like weird how like suddenly we struggled to find the energy, we struggled to pass, we struggled to do the easy things which looked so glamorous in the first two periods? It just gone. Completely gone out the game.
I don't know whether it was due to the fact that we usually are playing 4 lines and the minutes are spread more. Obviously we didn't have that this weekend. We had 3 lines over both nights. You know, the likes of Kent and Moose and people like that, you know, they probably are the fittest players in the team just based off the minutes that they've got. And, you know, Moose has obviously come in, he's only played a handful of games. Yeah. I think if you had that extra 2 players and you could throw the Bo Reader and whoever else out on the line, it might have flowed a little bit better. But then also, you don't know whether that might have, I don't want to say taken away from the earlier momentum and the goals and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I sort of agree with you. I think that there's probably a mindset thing there where they've gone into the second. Come out of the second period. Thought, yeah, we've got this in the bag now. There's no coming back from a 7-1, and yeah, just taking the foot off the gas, and you know, MK almost could have made us pay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, a minute into the third period, goal. 4 minutes into the third period, goal. 50 minutes, so 10 minutes into the third period, goal. All of a sudden, 7-4.
It was like, oh,
and
10 minutes
like,
to go.
Right, okay. Now you need to see it out. You need to see it out. You need to get your defence tight. You need to get physical again and just give them.
It's just hard to turn it back on though when the team's in an ascendancy like that, and you're maybe struggling for energy because you've sort of, like you say, gassed yourself out a bit.
Yeah.
To try and pull yourself back around to playing that way again, it can be really tough.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then 13 minutes into the third period, goal again.
Yeah, so
7-5, which is a very similar position to what Seahawks was in the night before, where it was, okay, let's pull the goalie. Let's pull the goalie and let's chase the goal. And
but that's
scary
baffling.
thought.
Can you imagine going in that dressing room, MK's dressing room, and going, with 10 minutes to go, you're going to be back in this and we're going to pull the goalie. They'd laughed at you and gone, what do you mean? We're getting we're getting tonked out there. What do you mean we're going to be having the chance to pull our goalie to get back in this game?
And let's be fair, like, they've made goalie changes, they've done all that.
Yeah.
It was the kind of like early shower for Headley, it was like, oh god, you know, like when it's getting bad.
Yeah.
Like there was even that mood of it one day where it was like, oh god, like if you was an MK fan, you'd be thinking this is going to be a rough night, like driving out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, that statement there that you just said that about the way the players will have thought that in the changing room.
It's just the contrast within like 10 minutes, 15 minutes is madness. I think, like, to wrap it up there then, fellas, you know, Hull Seahawks did win it 7-5 in the end. 2 periods of probably the best hockey I've seen us play this season, without a shadow of a doubt, across all lines. Everybody seemed to be at it. It was slick, it was fast, the goals was really good. But then we just showed that we potentially don't quite have the 60 minutes of that style of play. Which is all well and good, maybe against, no disrespect, a Basingstoke, a Solway, we're at the bottom of the table. But if you do that against a mid-table, upper-table team, you will get found out. And I think part of me feels like we've had a bit of an escape.
Yeah.
For as good as we played, it was a touch and go one.
They maybe got 1 or 2 more in the second period, it could have been different.
They had that 1-on-1 where I think it was Norris went through and he clipped the bar. He beat the goalie and just clipped the bar. And you think if that bounces bar and down, it's 7-6.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we got the win. We
did.
got the points. We very much needed points, and
Really good lesson for the boys as well. That.
Yeah, we've got. I was going to say we've taken some lessons. We've got some good signs. We just need to start building from it.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much of a negative. The lads know that fair period probably isn't good enough.
Yeah.
And that's where they need to game manage better.
Yeah.
Look at how they play. If they're going to play 2 periods the way they did, it is a learning curve.
Losing a period 4-0 at home it's never good enough. Like,
no.
and Mario said that, so you are right in that. But
ultimately, win.
Yeah.
So 1 win, 1 defeat on the weekend against MK. I'd personally take that.
Oh, it's okay.
Defending your home ice and all that.
We said that, didn't we? We said that a couple of weeks ago. If we can start making your home rink a fortress and trying to pick those, wins away from home towards the end of the season, you won't be doing too bad, would you? So
there's some very good teams coming to the Hull Ice Arena in the next sort of month. Next being Swindon.
Mm-hmm.
So it is time to start making it a fortress as we do run in for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Matty has said the playoffs now and where we seed is the most important thing now running towards the end of the season.
Agreed.
100%.
So another pretty good weekend, we'll take it. High octane action, bit of fighting, all kicking off. It's just what we like on a weekend.
Love it.
But that wraps up Seahawks reaction. So now let's have a look at the results from this past week. Starting with a Friday, so there was 2 league games and the cup game here. So we'll start with the league games. The first one, Basingstoke Bison hosting the Romford Raiders, and Romford taking this one 3-0 at Basingstoke.
Shut out, boys.
Yeah, fair play.
Away from home as well at the Bison.
I think
it's pretty decent.
I think we'd mentioned how Romford had a bit of a bad time the past couple of weeks, and they've been tonked a little bit. I want to say Telford did them over, but I might be wrong in saying that. But I'm almost saying it was like Telford who gave them a good pasting. So Romford away at Basingstoke, where a few teams have struggled. They've just gone there and said, Lord Albia, this is how we're going to do it.
They've beat the teams like Leeds and I want to say like Swindon there, maybe MK. So they have beat good teams there, definitely. So, and I know Romford have been struggling the last couple of weeks with imports. They obviously lost Sean Miller.
Yeah.
I think last week they was playing with Hull CC as their only import, which is rough, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in this game, I think they'd signed I want to say Andrew Coxhead during the week, and I'm sure this was his first game, and obviously he's got off to a quite good start, so that's pretty nice. Back to 4 imports. Well, I don't think Leisham's playing, but nevertheless, a massive result for them.
Something they needed, just
Definitely.
the little things at the minute, and it just seems
Yeah.
when the sky's falling, you've got no imports but a goalkeeper, you think, what else can go wrong?
Yeah.
And finally you get on to a nice little dub.
Yeah.
It does help,
Especially
doesn't it?
It's got to be a
Steadies
confidence
them.
boost, doesn't it?
So it steadies them back up.
Nice.
And the other league game on the Friday, Solway Sharks started their 3-game homestead stretch, and that was against Sheffield Steel Dogs. The Steel Dogs taking it 5-2, and it seemed like a pretty close game on the night as well when I was having a little look on the ticker.
Solway had gone 2-0 up, I believe, in this game as well, which was interesting. Jordan Boesa got 2 in the first period, which he seems to be on red hot form at the moment, doesn't he? But again, a good sign of a good team. Another road win for Sheffield. Just don't seem to be touching the edges, does it, with us at the minute?
They're doing really well.
I was just going to say,
racking up,
it
aren't
almost does say a little bit more about the quality Sheffield have got in there.
Absolutely.
To go and get 5 goals against the grain is...
It makes me wonder, knowing that Leeds and Swindon was playing that cup game against each other, if that maybe forced the hand a bit, like, we have to go get a win here. While them two are playing each other, focus on something else, we need to set the standard again now. So when they're finished having their little kerfuffle in that cup semi-final, they need to then be like, right, Sheffield have added points again, now we've got to reset.
Yeah, and remember, boys, this was an opportunity for Sheffield to go top of the league and they did with this win. So, while Swindon and Leeds are battering each other, they don't need to focus on that. Theirs is in a few weeks, isn't it? So let's focus on the win, and they did it, didn't they? Fair play to the boys in Slava.
Yeah, and then the only other fixture on the Friday was the second leg of the semi-final of the Cup, Leeds Knights hosting Swindon Wildcats. So if we think back to the first leg, Swindon at the Link took this 4-3. Going into this one with a goal advantage, I think we predicted that this was, that goal advantage would be massive for Swindon. It should see them over the line. Leeds do what they do best in the big moments. 3-0 winners.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Always deserves it in a shutout, boys. But wow, what a victory!
To shut out Swindon is something in its own. To come from a goal deficit against Swindon is something in its own. But to take this 3-0 and book yourselves into the final is a massive, massive credit to them.
Yeah, this had Macclesfield Crystal Palace all over it.
Underdogs.
But that Leeds knew what they was going up against in this game, and to be honest with you, like that's nothing short of absolutely.
You say there,
solid.
Leeds knew what they was going against. There is that. But how do you get yourself in that position? Like, lads, we're a goal down, top of the league are coming in. You are a good team yourself, but like you've got to think like any mistake they can capitalise, and that advantage just opens up again, and you're chasing still. But I missed it unfortunately because I was being a bit of a sadder and playing on my PlayStation. But I would love to have seen it. It might be worth watching the highlights back if they put them out because I'd love to have seen how that game played out, especially with a 3-0 scoreline.
Yeah, I think I can't remember which one it was that you two said it, but you said it so right. That was last week's game was actually a really good result for Leeds. To go to the link and only get that one goal deficit is really positive, isn't it? If they start blowing you away 3 or 4 goals in the first leg, it's a nightmare. So going back to your own rink where you're comfortable, the pad, you like playing in the pad, they've played it perfectly, haven't they?
Well, they did it last year. We need to remember, obviously, in this like similar sort of position again. I think might have been the final instead, with Romford, wasn't it? And Romford went to Leeds with a 3-goal advantage, and Leeds still did it again. They just have this way of like, let's not panic just because we're behind. Let's trust our home ice, our fans, and the way we know to play on here, and it'll come good.
Little question before we move on, boys. That basically signs up to the fact that the cup final is going to be maximum 80 miles away from us. Do we make a little cheeky trip to the cup final at some point, boys? Maybe one of the legs, maybe. If it's
I'd say I can just see it being like a Wednesday, Thursday night.
After work, it's like
straight down the motorway. Oh god! I mean,
it's one for the future.
We'll see. Yeah.
Put the season on hold for a weekend. Let's have the double header, Saturday and the Sunday. Especially if it was Leeds and Sheffield. Can you imagine that? The Slapshot would be straight down.
Unreal.
I won't mind sat there on a Saturday whilst we've got an away fixture with a stream on my phone for Seahawks and then watching the cup.
Yeah, that'd be a good shot. Definitely Saturday. That's a good shot.
Yeah,
like that.
So that wrapped up Friday's fixtures, and that's sort of, as we'll come into Saturday, it's sort of made for a weird Saturday in some respects, didn't it? As we'll come into the results now, but Leeds obviously on a high, Swindon maybe on a bit of a low. Not the first time Swindon maybe dropped the ball in big moments in past few seasons. And how do they rectify it? And that's where we turn our attention to Saturday. The first game on the Saturday, Leeds Knights hosting the Peterborough Phantoms. The Peterborough Phantoms taking this one 5-3.
At the Castle. Strange one, this, wasn't it?
Maybe there was too much partying after that cup victory.
Too many
in the semi-final.
Yeah. I think I saw a picture of a couple of the lads out on the old the black stuff.
I saw Subchat Brown and this. Or was that on the Saturday night? I'm not sure.
No, but nonetheless, maybe a few too many Eels come to play in that one. But no, Peterborough are a solid team out there, and they can get the business done when they're on it. So
a sticky side for most teams, and they've seen an opportunity there where Leeds have had such a triumphant night, and like you say, maybe have enjoyed it, maybe a fraction too much, and Peterborough have seen an opportunity to make the most of it, and they have done there. Great result for them.
Good result for Peterborough as well, an indicator in the final that if they do get through, it's not going to be an easy feat. So good that.
Absolutely.
I don't think they had Yanni in this game,
Really?
Yeah, interesting.
That is interesting. So the second game on the night was Swindon Wildcats hosting the Telford Tigers. Swindon Wildcats taking this one 9-1.
What was the story of the night as?
You tell me, mate. I'm still trying to get the fact I put 9 past Telford.
Yeah, and this, Telford. Let's not be hasty.
They've been on a good run of
form. They've
form.
on a really good form. They've really solidified themselves above that middle pack. They've been the ones that are sort of coming out on top and looking.
So I don't think this is a fluke, to be honest, because like you said, Telford have
been really good.
Got some game in them at the minute. So Swindon must have looked at this game and thought, right, okay, cup's done, league.
Yeah, but it must be a really bitter pill to swallow. Imagine being a Swindon fan travelling to the Castle, seeing your team shut out,
and then
the next night you put us 9 away, and you must be just thinking, where was this last night?
Well, where was it last night, Azza? And that flows perfectly. There was a certain player who played his first game and in one game bagged up, didn't he? Because Caden Villegas, that's probably butchering his name, the new import for Swindon, who are interestingly the 4th team this season to now have 5 imports, which is an interesting one ahead of the stretch of the season. He played his first game and ripped it up on a line with Logan Van Den Merake, who also got 5 points, and the gaffer, Aaron Nell, who sat himself in the middle. Right, I was like, don't worry lads, we've got it.
I'll look after him on that top man. He's new to the country, I'll settle him in.
We'll wean him in slowly, lads, we'll wean him in slowly.
So this is how I want to play. I'll join your line and I'll show you exactly how I want you to play.
Just watch how I play, lads, and won't go far wrong.
Aaron Nell, what did you say was? 4-2, just there, just like, here we go. You two lads just bag up and I'll stand round and make sure you're alright.
Dad, give me a new contract. I'm class.
But yeah, unbelievable. The contrasting nature of both Leeds and Swindon there is, it's a mad one. I'd love to know what each team's fans think of that, because I'd be frustrated if I was a Swindon fan after. Surely the bigger game is the cup one, and I don't want to discredit it because I don't know obviously how well they played, but face value, getting nil at the Castle when you was 1-0 up, it just seems like you've maybe thrown it away a little bit.
Yeah.
Then just to think, batter Telford the next night, it's just.
They won't be oblivious to it though, because they'll have finished that game and gone, right, how did Sheffield get on? Bang, top of the table. We've just dropped the cup and now we've lost our top spot on the table. So we need to do something about it, and that's how what I think's happened. Obviously they've had a Lionel Messi in the footballing world or a Wayne Gretzky in the hockey world come in and just bag up. So.
It's a bit of a statement of intent for the remainder of the season though, these 5 imports. The bigger teams, if they can afford it, going 5 imports, and other teams as well, which we'll get into obviously. But it'd be interesting to see how that gets on for the remainder of the season, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, I made a footballing reference about Swindon as well. I won't repeat it at the minute because I could be made to eat my words at the end of the season, but if it comes I will say it by the end of the season, let me tell you. So that was sort of like arguably the biggest sort of look at games on that Saturday. The next game after that, Bristol Pitbulls hosted the Romford Raiders, and the Pitbulls taking it 4-2. So Romford obviously getting a good win for themselves at Basingstoke 3-0 on the Friday night. Couldn't quite get it done at the Pitbulls, so a bit of a weird side.
Are they being underestimated at the moment or not?
I don't know. Isn't it? We have these like weekends where they'll go get a 4-point weekend, and you're sort of like, oh, well done, son, but they have got Bricknell, they have got, and then they get beaten. You're like, oh, what's going on there?
The next week, it's crazy, isn't it?
And they're really hard teams to sort of put your finger on and say, like, are you achieving or are you underachieving? They're a weird side, aren't they?
Like, the place in the table shows that they're not doing well at the moment. That's no disrespect to them. They'll want it to be a lot further up, and I think we all sort of said that they'd be doing a little bit better than this. I think then the pull-out wins like this.
I think they lead teams into a false sense of security sometimes. Then they go bang.
Yeah.
And then just take the points and you're like, what?
They're the kind of weird team that I could see getting into 8th and then their imports just 10 on, and Josh Bat's just starting to have a worldie. Like, Tommy Napier's had another really good weekend. Like, he's coming into some real good form at the minute in the net. You know what I mean? Like, just start building up for the last month and a half of the season, and then just causing a load of upsets in the playoffs. It'd be anarchy, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So the penultimate fixture on the Saturday was Milton Keynes Lightning hosting the Hull Seahawks. Milton Keynes taking it 6-4 as we've covered, and that led to the final fixture, which was Solway Sharks and the Basingstoke Bison. Solway's second home game of the weekend. This was a double header. This first game ending Solway 5-4 in overtime.
Yeah, very interesting. So this was first of a double header for them, wasn't it? So we knew that was going to be a busy weekend for Solway Sharks at their home ground. Weird lineup as well. No Bolton.
There was a bit of so during the week, Solway have come out and they've signed a new import forward, Hodge.
To go 5 imports.
5 imports, brilliant. And a statement of intent. They've said, the owner's backed us and we want to push for that 8th spot. We've done that by signing this player who his stats in the German 4th tier, I think, where Nolan Gardiner is right now, look really good. So, great. If you can add that to your team, then why not? They've also signed somebody else, Leo Prada. He has got I think he's maybe Okonkwo or something like that, but just Leo Prada. He is a British player, born in Colchester, I believe, but hasn't played any British hockey, in terms of his development years.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are saying at the moment he's going to go under the Liam Stewart rule, so because he's got a British passport, they're sort of thinking, well, he'll be able to get in as a Brit, he is from Britain. Others aren't, and in this game, like you said, Bolton wasn't in the lineup. He also wasn't in the lineup on Friday. So I think Hodge, the new signing, had sat out and Leon Prada was in. So it was Prada, Arsenault, Stewart and Yancys that was in. Yeah, how can I forget Yancys? Those were the 4 that was in. So it was almost like well, are you running 6 imports or are you running 5 imports? So and because I know that in the league you're allowed to sign 5 imports, but you're only allowed to ice 4. So there's a little bit of clarification there needed where, is Prada an import or not? And if not, then what's happening? But the fact that Bolts didn't play Friday, I personally thought they're saving him for the Basingstoke doubleheader because that's a game that's going to get a bit feisty, which it did. But no, Bolton, which was a strange one, came out pretty good though. Obviously, overtime was where they wrapped it up, but they'll have been happy with that one, won't they?
Yeah, how can you not? I mean, the extra point's massive in it for Solway at the minute, and Basingstoke could have been disappointed with themselves to not wrap it up themselves. So.
Yeah. As we said, it's a 3 home game stretch for Solway Sharks. They wouldn't have expected much on the Friday with Sheffield coming to town.
Free hit.
Yeah, just warm yourselves up sort of thing. Not to discredit the fixture, but eyes on for this doubleheader against Basingstoke. They absolutely, without any doubt, knew that this was an opportunity to get points.
Yeah.
And
to close the gap.
In all fairness, I reckon they'd have backed themselves for a 4-point weekend here, and I think that's why it was such a monumental weekend and why it maybe tilted up as much as it did going into that Sunday. So, everything had to be perfect for Solway for me in this one to achieve said 4 points.
This was a one as well. I think there was a few little bits in the game, weren't there, where it was going to teeter over into the Sunday, and by heck did it teeter into the Sunday because there's been a lot that's come out of this one, hasn't they? Yeah. Again though, interestingly, we bang on about him, but he is a good friend of the pod. No Bolton again on Sunday, which was very surprising for me. Friday you don't put him in, it's like okay. Saturday you don't put him in, it's like are they trying this Prada out? Fair enough. But then Prada and Hodge, I believe, didn't play the Sunday. Prada didn't play on the Sunday. They took a defenseman out, but still no Bolton. And it's like when you've got a game, for me, if you've got a game that's really feisty and fiery, you need a sheriff, don't you?
Yeah.
And Jake Bolton's that guy, in my opinion. He's gonna clack heads and he puts players off. Let's be fair, we've seen it firsthand. He's not a player that you want to go at. He's not a player that you want to get into a social with. I think he's had 2 fights this season. He's dropped both players with 1 punch.
I can't help but feel like had he been in the roster for this game, all of the antics that went on
probably wouldn't have happened.
It'd have been like whack-a-mole, wouldn't it?
Anybody else?
Just banging them all on the
else got anything on that? Because I almost want to put an advert out saying where's Jake Bolton.
I don't know. Hopefully it's alright. Hopefully it's not whether it's injury precaution or what. But it just feels like there's been a lack of
communication
from anything from Solway to say what's happening, why
a
is
big
it
player,
he is a big player,
big character, will win your games himself, and then he's just sort of gone.
I want to say
you can only presume it has to be injury.
I want to say he's a defenseman, and I want to say maybe this was a couple of weeks ago that I looked, but he was 4th top point scorer for the team. He's a defenseman.
Yeah.
So, how are you taking that out of your team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've seen him on the power play. He's on the blue line. You get the puck to him. He's like Emil Svek. He's got a ripper, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Please, Solway, give us some clarification. And it's great hearing things from people and stuff like that, but it's better hearing it from the actual team than.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we've heard this rumour or that rumour or this is that his mum's carrots auntie is, not very well. But back to the game anyway, boys. And a bit
we haven't gone to Sunday.
Sorry, just an interesting one, isn't it? But that does take us into Sunday.
So it does take us into Sunday, and the first game was Solway Sharks, Basingstoke Bison. Solway taking this one 5-2. A little bit more steadier the ship on this one. But, as you alluded to, It did kick off, and did it half kick off. 119 penalty minutes in this game, and what can only be described as some sort of a brawl.
Yeah.
But we don't
Yeah, bench clearance won it.
Love it.
A good old-fashioned one.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know what happened, to be honest with you. I think we've heard some stories from people, but who knows? I suppose Dops will review the footage and there'll be some
Dops will
some
mop up on this.
hefty bans.
They
I don't
get-
know whether they have. I don't want to lump anybody in with anything at the minute by speculating. So. We'll see what they say, but yeah, again, I just want to reiterate, I can't help but feel with Bolton in your team that doesn't
I
happen.
agree.
He wades through all them bodies, doesn't he? And
Yeah,
starts
yeah.
throwing people
Bolton
around.
picks out the biggest and hardest player on the other team and says, come on then. And
Yeah.
if that player is seen to be like, nah, I'm alright, everybody
No,
else goes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saves
Oh,
everybody else getting
alright.
into anything.
Yeah.
Let's just me and you go for the
Let's
sake
do
of
it
our teams.
Yeah.
You know, if you win,
yeah.
you know, we'll wind it in a bit.
I
We knock
think
you out.
story of this game as well though, boys, is that I think Solway scored, I want to say maybe, well I know that they did, they scored 3 power play goals and Carter Hamill scored every power
Yeah,
play
he got
goal.
a
He
hat-trick.
got a hat-trick of power play goals. Is that a bit of a mismanagement of the game from Bison, giving away these penalties when they know you've got the likes of Yancey and Wacer and Stewie and
Quite
people can mop
possibly.
up?
You know,
It's a
like I
difficult
say,
one, that, isn't it?
it's hard to know about the full context
Yeah.
of the double header. You know, we haven't seen too many of these double headers this season. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we love it when we've looked on the calendar.
It's great.
Most fans always circle double header
Yeah.
weekends because you know or expect maybe something to kick up, but it hasn't really even happened for us this week,
No.
this season much. Whereas this one seems to, well, it'll go down in the memory for sure. But we just don't see much of this anymore, and without knowing the full story from that first game into the second game, there could have been already going in there. Heads have already gone Bison, and it could just be silly penalties they've let go or personal vendettas, and you start doing that, and your full team's going to suffer. And obviously they did, because Carter just said, you know what, keep racking up these power plays, and I'll keep scoring.
Absolutely, fair play to him. But yeah, I think all in all, though, boys, a big weekend for the Sharks. There, they've stuck up for themselves. Not a massive fan of the second one where he's like whacked right on the pads or something like that. I've seen some stuff where Sharks fans are like, oh no, he was just saying that it was a good job. I'm like, nah.
I thought this when I first watched it, and I saw the Solway player just, you know, give the goalie a bit of a tap on the pads at first, and I thought, fair play, is just like, you know, fair play, fella. But then I've watched it again, and he does. It's almost like that flick of a quick wrist, you know what I mean? It's like, bush out you like that.
Like a towel whip.
And then it's that's after the game. But then the Basingstoke players turn around just at the almost perfect spot. You can just imagine his eyes have just lit up and just
Are you
gone,
taking the miss?
you what? And he's already gone, the gloves are down, and does he mob this Solway player? And it's just like, it's one of those where you just think, that's unnecessary, that.
Yeah.
All that over there needs looking at for whatever's instigated it. But you, I'm sorry to be blunt, but you're an idiot.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're Solway in that position and you are 4 or 5 up, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
What's the need? There's no need, is there?
Just
But is that,
belly laughing, ha 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 ha, just give it, you know what I mean?
just give him a bit on the way by. What score is it? You know, you don't have to whack. You don't have to whack him, do you? God, but you know
That's hockey.
that's the kind of thing, though. But no, if you get a 5-minute major against a Swindon or something like that, they'll go bang 4 goals past you and you lose again, don't you? So
But the biggest sense with Dops looking at this whole game now, they look at that and just go, that incited something else, so he needs to do it. And they'll just say he meant to do it to start something else.
Yeah.
And they'll just give
Instigate-
you like 2 or 3
instigator or
game ban
something.
for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Does Solway need that right now?
definitely not.
I think we'll leave that
I was
on
gonna
there.
say,
That'll...
Let's move
And
on.
that's Solway reacts.
So the second game on the Sunday, Romford Raiders hosting the Swindon Wildcats. The Swindon Wildcats winning this one 5-4. So real weird sort of weekend for the Swindon Wildcats. Knocked out the cup semi-final, levering Telford, you know, by a massive margin, but then almost eking it out against Romford.
Yeah. Probably some tired legs to do with this. Having 3 games on the balance, it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Romford can be a very good team. Obviously, they've got CC as well in goal, who is a big factor in this. It's rare you see some teams go and put double figures past them or anything. So, yeah.
I don't think it's the worst result for Romford either, is it?
No.
5-4 at home.
No,
Against Swindon, they're a very good team.
We said how Swindon are obviously, been in their sort of position, but as we mentioned, Romford as well have been in a bit of a weird situation as of late. They got a nice win on the Saturday, I think it was, and then to be as close as it was in that game, they won't take that as too much of an insult. They've won a game and been right in another one.
Yeah.
It's better than just being, totally blitzed and having the trouble they've had, so fair play to them.
Absolutely.
Hull Seahawks hosting the Milton Keynes Lightning, as we've already touched in Seahawks reaction. 7-5 win for Seahawks. And the Peterborough Phantoms hosted the Bristol Pitbulls, and the Pitbulls taking this 5-4 in a shootout, making it a 4-point weekend.
Yeah, in fact, this was a tasty game to watch. Obviously, we always say about shootouts, over time it's there to be won, in it. Shootouts is very, very difficult. I think to come out of the losing side of a shootout doesn't really reflect anything, so... Yeah, but hats off to Bristol. They know Peterborough are a very, very tough team to go to and get some points.
The team that beat Leeds the night before.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not bad. Yeah. And a lot of people do go to Peterborough and lose, don't they?
Yeah.
Peterborough have been circling this one, being like, this is 2 points there.
Yeah,
so absolutely.
It's a Pitbulls.
And the final fixture on the Sunday, Telford Tigers hosting the Sheffield Steel Dogs. And as you would imagine, Telford won.
yeah.
So Telford get levered. 9-1.
Think about this weekend.
Sheffield must be already on the coach, like, here we go, we're in here.
Yeah.
They've just whacked them 9-1. We'll do the same. Hang on.
Think about this weekend though. So Sheffield go to Solway and win, and then go to Telford get beat. Telford get beat 9-1 by Swindon, then beat Sheffield, who are one of the form teams in the league. Swindon get shut out by Leeds, beat someone 9-1, and then
Eke one out.
What is this league?
This weekend has been like such a double side of a coin.
It's mad, isn't it?
Thank God we've got a predictor, because
Yeah, if we've got 5 points this week on the predictor, we
Yeah. So that was the final fixture. Telford taking it 6-3 against the Sheffield Steel Dogs, and some recovery for them. And I'm sure the home faithful there at the Jungle would have been massively appreciative of a better performance than what they must have seen online in that 9-1 loss. Definitely. So that takes us into the standings. I'll let you take it this week if you want, mate.
Yeah, no problem. So in first position we've got Swindon Wildcats, 33 played, 55 points. Sheffield Steel Dogs in second, 36 played, 52 points. Leeds Knights in third, 32 played, 43 points. Telford Tigers in fourth, 34 played, 39 points. Peterborough Phantoms in fifth, 33 played, 39 points. Milton Keynes Lightning in sixth, 34 played, 36 points. Hull Seahawks in seventh, 33 played, 35 points. Bristol Pitbulls in eighth, 33 played, 28 points. Romford Raiders in ninth, 35 played, 28 points. Basingstoke Bison in 10th, 31 played, 26 points. And Solway Sharks in 11th, 34 played, 23 points.
So yeah, I'm normally you'd look at the top of the table. I'm not. I'm actually looking at the bottom of the table here. So big 4 points there for Solway. That puts them now 5 points off a playoff position.
It does.
That is some turnaround. Really troubled start beginning of the season. Didn't have the roam eyes. Was on the road a lot. But they've sort of, as soon as they got back home, started picking up nice little wins. I think they got something against Leeds, maybe once or twice. I think they've had us and beaten us. They picked up some big results at home, and that's what's turned their season round for them. And if they can get round to that 8th position and get a nice little playoff spot,
story of the season.
Potentially, yeah. I think Basingstoke are in there as well.
Yeah.
Their first season as a new organisation. Nothing to win, so they've had some good results. They can still also get in there. They're only, 2 points off that position as well. That little run for 8th position is going to be a real nice one, I think, as we go towards the end of the season.
Interesting to see Pitbulls in there as well after their 4 point weekend, just slotted back into that 8th spot. It's really, really up, and it's definitely one to keep an eye on.
And they'll be happy as well because Romford also on 28 points, but Romford have played 2 more.
Yeah.
So that could be defining.
Yeah, it could be. And then obviously there's MK Hull, we're very close, 1 point in it, 1 game in hand for us on them. So we win our game in hand, we could end up in 7th position.
That 4th to 7th
position
is 4 points in it, and
it's
stayed at that for a few weeks now, where it could be like a 4 point weekend can put you 4th. Then if you drop some points in a weekend, you drop down to like 6th.
Yeah.
It's that tight in there, but
Lovely
it is important because the seedings will matter in those positions, and it will be good to see how it plays out.
Well, then, shall we move on to Team of the Week?
I think we should, yeah. That concludes looking at the fixtures and results of this weekend. So now we're going to have a look at our team of the week for this week, and there's been some big performers this week. I don't think we've really got anybody we've got a couple from a top side, but other than that, it's been sort of mid-table, lower half, which is quite a nice change of pace, isn't it? So with that said, we'll jump straight into it then. So our netminder this week, we've bigged him up a few times, haven't we? He's come into a real nice bit of form, and it is Tommy Napier of Bristol, and he's helped them to a 4-point weekend this week. Made 45 saves versus Romford, and then made 52 saves and helped Bristol to a shootout win with 2 shootout saves, which is, big when it comes to the duel. Save percentages of 95% and 92%, almost 93 on the Sunday. And we've seen this a few times where he's been on the edge of a really big performance, but it has come together this weekend at last for him.
Yeah.
Not his first time in the team of the week. I think he was in it the other week, so they'll need that. I think he'll have been a bit of a factor on them pushing on for 840.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it starts with your goaltender.
I was just going to say
some goaltenders can win games on their own, and when you're pushing for playoffs, your goalkeeper does need to come in clutch for you, and he is at the minute.
Yeah. So moving on then, our first defenceman in this week's team of the week is Romford Raiders' Jarrett Baker. So Jarrett was part of that decor that helped shut out Busson, apparently.
Typo, sorry.
Shut out Bison at their own barn on Friday night, which was, very, very good. We give a round of applause to that already, and it deserved one, so well done for that one. Now, they've had a difficult night on Saturday night in the loss to Bristol, but he did help them, towards that sort of like 5-4 loss, which is
sounds
credit,
weird,
really.
But,
Yeah, it sounds
against
credit,
Swindon, like.
Yeah, credit really to Swindon. Sorry, and obviously got 2 goals and an assist. So
coming off his injury as well, I think this is his second week back playing. I think that's quite a good little set of performances. That's nothing to mince about.
No, as a defenseman, you've got to start somewhere, and it does start with stay-at-home defending. But when you can go add some points, goals, assists into it, then why not? Like you say, second weekend back, I'm sure he'll be happy and wanting to push a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go into our second defenseman then. No, it's a third. So our next defenseman is Ollie Arsenault from the Solway Sharks. So Ollie was part of the decor for the Sharks, who obviously got that 4-point weekend this weekend, which is really good. Ever present on that first line as well, which is nice. Obviously they had a difficult Friday night, but bounced back with a win on Saturday with Arsenault chipping in with 2 assists. And then he chipped in another assist on Sunday and put in another solid display whilst looking after his mates when things got feisty in that 5-2 win on Sunday night as well. So
everything you need out of a D, man.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he's one of their ears as well. I want to say that, or has been in the past. So a real important figure for them. So fair play to him.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to our forwards then, and our first forward is also of the Solway Sharks, and it is Jordan Big Game Buesa. 2 goals versus Sheffield on the Friday, one of his former teams, as well as Leeds. 2 assists in the fixture versus Basingstoke, and then 2 goals and assists on the Sunday versus Basingstoke again, which helps that 4-point weekend. Yeah. But it just seems every game now, his name is always on the point scoring at the minute. And it's not just one either, he seems to be getting multiple point nights, and that experience and wealth of know-how which he's had from Sheffield, from Leeds, he's starting to put it into practice now with Solway, and he's becoming a massive character from amongst those imports.
Yeah, he's smashing it.
So our next forward is a Swindon Wildcat, and it is Logan van der Merake. So he helped Swindon to a 4-point weekend.
Oh man, come on.
Another typo.
He's tried to trip you up.
Give it a rest and just read it.
Yeah, no. Helped him to a massive 4-point weekend. Obviously, after a disappointing loss to Leeds, picked themselves up off the deck there, and he got 2+3 on Saturday night versus Telford in a massive win. And a man of the match performance versus Romford on Sunday, including a hat-trick.
You know it.
I just think it's weird that, because I said about how Swindon eked out a result against Romford, and look, he's put 8-10 to 1. It's almost like foresight and Stormy saying
Mystic Mike. What can you say about Logan? He's becoming a real prominent figure for them, isn't he?
I think it was tough for him this season coming in, obviously. Jake Bricknell being the player he was for Swindon, over 100 points, and Logan sort of came in, and I think there was a lot of fingers pointing like, this guy's going to be the next Jake Bricknell, and Bricknell's something else on his own. The amount of times we was like every week, oh, team of the week, he's done this, he's done that. But Logan has had a very good season in his own right and has taken up that mantle very well, in my opinion. So fair play to him.
Swindon in general for the full team have become a miles better team. So the fact that he still stands out in a team like that is saying in itself. We have had that conversation before on the pod about the Jake Bricknell things, but I think at the moment it's not really fair to compare him to him. He's his own player and he's a very important player for them.
I just think Swindon have had some very good forwards over the years, and they love a big forward. You know what I mean? So they just always seem to find them and point them out, and it's their like little heroes in it. And
definitely.
He seems to be another character.
Absolutely. So finally, we are going back to Solway. So this is the third Solway player in the lineup, and it might not come to any surprise that it is Carter Hamill. So he has had a huge weekend for the Sharks in the doubleheader versus Bristol. On Saturday night, Carter scored the opening goal on the power play to help set off a 5-4 win for the Sharks. And on Sunday night, he scored a hat-trick of power play goals as well as assisting the first goal. He got the well-deserved man of the match on Sunday, which obviously helped Solway within 5 points of a playoff spot. And obviously a big 4-point weekend. So
he's been the difference, hasn't he?
He's been a massive player for him actually, and you notice that he's starting to play a little bit more for Belfast as well. So when he is in the team, he's starting to make that real difference. You sort of think, don't you, like how long is it before Belfast say we want you all the time? So we might have to enjoy him while he's there because for a young player he definitely has both sides. He's now scoring and assisting, but he's not scared to get dirty. He's not scared to play third line or fourth line for Belfast, and he looks like a real good pickup, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean he's always been that sort of player where teams always know about him for his hard, gritty performances he always puts in. And also to get that call up to Belfast this year, getting that first goal, a few weeks back, that would obviously be massive for him. And obviously putting in a bit of work with Belfast, and now it's paying out when he goes back to the Sharks as well. So I think he'll be quite happy with his campaign this season.
I agree, 100%. It's definitely one that he's took a few more steps ahead, isn't it? So fair play to Carter for that.
Well, that wraps up the team of the week for this week, fellas. Like you say, heavily Solway based, but fair play to them. They had a really tough weekend and they overcame it. And congratulations to everybody else who made it into the team this week. So now it's time to go to our favourite part of the episode, where we reflect on how badly we predicted games. I think on face value we know it's going to be a bit of a peculiar week this week, because we've had some 9-1s and teams winning that we didn't anticipate winning, but
if one of us have got one correct score in this, it could be the difference.
Absolutely,
yeah, absolutely. With that said, then Rossy, let's come over to you and see what you got to say.
I have listened to the feedback, basically of this shed after we stopped recording last week, and I've binned the old book off because it was a train wreck. Not my best move. So we have got a new book, a year 2026 one, so plenty of predictors to be done. First off, boys, let's just have that quick question. How do you both feel like you've done? Azza seems a bit doom and gloomy. How are you feeling about it?
I think I've got a couple of results, but yeah, similar to Azza, I think some of the results were just like something you couldn't predict, really. Certainly if I was going to go for some correct scores, but yeah, I'll be surprised if any of us got them.
Well, there was 13 games this week, boys, and unfortunately there ain't anybody who's topped the glorified 15 points, unfortunately. However, it's not as bad as you think.
Oh, okay.
So the person who got the least amount of points got 6 this week, which ain't too bad considering the results. No. The next was 7, and top spot was 8. So not too much
points in it, really.
Not too much to separate us this weekend. I don't think, in the grand scheme of things, if you look at 3 or 4 of those fixtures, you can sort of take a point away anyway. So we do know what we're talking about a little bit, everybody. Anyway, let's get into it. So previously, the scores on the doors were: Brad was in 3rd place with 106, I was in 2nd with 113, and last week's winner was storming ahead with 127 points. So this weekend, lads, we'll start in the middle. Okay. So
this is you.
The person who got 7 points this week was me.
Oh,
I got 7 points. Okay.
I think I'm really in it. I'm
so,
a lot with the pal here.
The person who got 8 points this week and was the winner was Brady.
Hey.
Well
come on! Well done, man.
So let's give her all faithful.
Thank you.
Well done, son.
Feel
It's
good?
been a while, yeah. It's been a
Well
while.
done, mate. Proud of you. Proud of you.
See, but every time I win, it's always close as well.
Yeah,
I can't,
it's tricky.
can't
Not
get
really
like
pulling,
four or
yeah.
5 points on you or something to pull me back
And
into
you know
something.
what? When, on those weeks where like me and Azza have done a little bit better, it's only because of correct scores. I feel like generally we usually get around the same amount of
Yeah.
results right.
Yeah.
It's just luck. It's pure luck. So maybe guess 9-1 this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Might get 5 points from us. So currently then the scores on the doors are Brad is still in third but has closed the gap on me a little bit. He is on 114 points. I now have 120 points, so only 6 points between me and Brad but still in a very comfortable lead. 13 points ahead is Azza with 133.
Nice.
So, nice
Bottom of
little
the
cushion.
pile, but I only lost, a point to Al, so I'll take that.
Nice
Yeah,
little
yeah.
cushion for Azza.
Mhm.
Bradders is I'm slowly having to look over my shoulder because you're coming up the rear view. So
Yeah.
And still a few games to go as well.
Yeah, there's still opportunities, like you say. You have a bit of a weekend like me last week, and
I
in
know,
your position, you'll be
imagine.
flying
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
back up there, and it'll change the face of the table really quickly. So,
absolutely.
with that said, then let's jump into it. We've got a few different fixtures to go through. The first one being Thursday, the 15th of January, and we start the other section of the semi-final of the Cup. In the first leg, Peterborough Phantoms hosting Sheffield Steel Dogs.
Starting off with a tough one, aren't we?
It is, because again, mixed bag for both of these teams. It really is. I'll start us off if you want.
Go for it.
Sheffield Steel Dogs to win this 5-3. I just think I was leaning towards Peterborough, then I just remembered obviously they lost at home. I know it was a shootout in the end to the Pitbulls, but I just think that this is massive for Sheffield. This.
Agreed, yeah.
I think it's almost bigger than the league at the minute. As close as they are in the league, they've still got 3 games out of the likes of Swindon, so it's almost like keep the pressure on, and if it happens, it happens. Whereas I think this, they've got total control of. Play well, you get to the final.
Yeah.
Play well again, you've won it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my logic sort of behind this.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Sheffield as well because I feel like this is their thing to go for.
Yeah.
And when teams have got points against Sheffield, it's been on the odd occasion, and I don't think that happens in a semi-final of a cup. So, what score did you go for?
5-3 to Sheffield.
5-3. Okay, I'll go for a 6-4.
Interesting. So my initial reaction straight away was 5-3 Sheffield. However, despite me thinking that they will have the likes of Bjarkli Nordstrom because it's a midweek game, despite the fact they'll have the pick of the imports and things like that, I'm going to go for Peterborough. Yeah, I think they know how to play their home rink. I think if they've got all their players firing, I think if that first line's firing, they've always got a chance. Hayden Levine's obviously a massive player for them. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just going to go for them. I'm similarly to the first leg of Leeds. I'm going to go 4-3, and I'll go 4-3 to Peterborough.
Interesting. Be a really good game, this.
Yeah,
And I quite like it on a Thursday night. I probably won't watch this one, but I'll be keeping an eye on the online updates to see how this one plays out, because I think it'll be massive.
Work, so I probably won't get to look at it at all. But
Yeah.
So everyone, if you are streaming, don't forget to watch the Slapshot special. That'll be on about 45 minutes before this starts, which is roughly around how long the episode is. So
yeah,
that's great. Make sure you watch the Slapshot special.
So then we move on to Saturday, and the first fixture, Swindon Wildcats versus the Sheffield Steel Dogs.
Some game this.
This is massive.
I'll kick us off for this
Cats
one if you
versus
want.
Dogs.
Go on then.
So obviously this is going to be hugely dependent on how the Friday goes for Sheffield. Thursday
so
goes
at least
for
we've got a
Sheffield.
day's
So we've got
rest.
a day, I suppose. Yeah. I'm going to go for Swindon, and I'm going to go for quite a high scoring game. I'm going to go 8-5.
8-5.
8-5.
Yeah.
About 2 minutes ago, he says, "I'll just never get the correct score."
Yeah.
So he goes 8-5. If that comes in there, Jesus Christ,
I know.
fair play.
Look at what happened this weekend.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Got some
Why not,
fight.
mate? Why not? And they've got goals now, haven't they? Wonder if Carl Watson will be playing after he's running with Lukic.
Maybe not.
Bless him.
He got absolutely ruined, didn't he?
He did
Real
fall off,
quickly.
didn't
Yeah.
I think the Steelers fans clapped him off while he was on the stretcher. Body bag.
I'll follow because obviously he's stalling now.
Yeah,
Just,
he does that.
I initially wanted to go for Wildcats, but I think I'm going to stick my bit of loyalty with Steel Dogs, as I have done for a little while over this season. I am going to stick with Steel Dogs to win this. I think they'll get over the line in that first leg, and I think that's just going to project them. And I think that'll then be. So if we can now get a result over Swindon here, those 3 games ahead goes down to 2 ahead, and then we just need a favour elsewhere. I'm going to go for Sheffield, and I'm going to go for a 6-4 win.
I think Swindon have more goals in them now than ever, and I think that's going to pay dividends for the rest of the season. So I'm also going to join you, Brad, by saying there's going to be a couple of goals. I'm going to go Swindon win 6-3.
Interesting. Yeah. 2 games we've gone into, and it's already shaping to be a real nice one, isn't it? So the next game on the Saturday, Basingstoke Bison host the Hull Seahawks. Rossy will come to you first.
I will jump straight in with this. I'll go Seahawks, and I think we'll win 4-2.
I'm also going to go Seahawks, but I will go for a 3-1.
I'm also going to go Seahawks. I'm going to go for a 3-2.
I think we've all got the same idea there, haven't we? Tough ring to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. Next game, Bristol Pitbulls, who have come off a 4-point weekend, host the Leeds Knights.
Leeds are a circus in the minute, aren't they? You don't know what you're getting.
I'm going to go for Leeds to win this one. I think it's going to be 5-3. I think there's some goals to be had here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Leeds as well. It's a points game, and I feel like I need to back the favourite, so I'll go for a... I'm going to go for a 4-3.
Oh, man. That's the worst bit about going last, isn't it? I'll
you can
go...
still stick with it.
No,
Got some stones.
What did you go for?
I went 5-3.
I'll go Leeds 4-2.
Solway Sharks hosting the Milton Keynes Lightning. I think this one is a tough one to call, to be fair.
Double home header again for Solway. Double game against MK.
With a lack of form from MK going away.
One to take in. Their home form has been torrid.
Go on then.
However, we don't know how they're going to be. Solway are going to be affected by the penalty minutes this week. So I'm going to back MK. I'm going to back MK and I'm going to back them. Although I don't think it'll be easy for them. I think MK will win the first 5-3. I genuinely don't know what they're going to turn up with Solway. Are they going to be pulling SNL lads in or something?
I literally thought exactly the same as you, and I'm going to go for Milton Keynes. So yeah, and I'm going to go for a 6-2.
Yeah, I was also going to go Milton Keynes anyway, because I think more so that their away form needs to pick up.
Yeah.
And their fans are absolutely begging.
We saw they
for
can
it,
play a
so,
bit when they obviously played us. Yeah. We took our foot off the gas a little bit, and they showed they can still play.
Maybe that's a sign for
they
them to
crap,
show we can take this.
They are a crap team at the MK. Just inconsistent. They've got individual players that can win games.
Yeah.
It's now's the time for them to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. So I'm going to go 5-3 MK.
Fair. And the final fixture on the Saturday is Telford Tigers versus Peterborough.
This could be an underrated game. This battle of 4th and 5th. This is a good game. This.
Yeah. I'll take it first then. So I'm going to go for Telford Tigers at home, because I find them really difficult to go against at home. I'm going to go for a 3-1.
I'm also going to back Telford. I'll jump in as well. I'm going to go 5-2. 5-2. Telford.
I'm also going to go Telford, and I was going to go for the same score as you. I'll notch it and I'll go 5-3 Telford.
If that comes in, 5-3 was on the tip of my tongue. 2.
And then that leads us into the Sunday game on the 18th of January. Leeds Knights host the Bristol Pitbulls, so this is part of a double header. Leeds at the Castle. Personally, I can't see this going any other way but to the Leeds Knights, and I'm going to go for a 4-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go Leeds as well. I think it might be a little bit more high scoring. I'm going to go for a 6-2.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm going to follow that. I'm going to go for a 4-point weekend for Leeds. I'll go 5-2 for Leeds.
Solway Sharks hosting Milton Keynes again, second round. I'm going to go Solway on this one. I think lessons will be learned after that first game. Still going to be really tight. I'm going to go for a 4-3 Solway.
I'm going to go Milton Keynes again. I've just got a bit of a feeling about them at the moment. And if they play in that third period like they did against us for majority of these games, they'll be difficult to beat. So I'm going to go Milton Keynes 4-1.
Hard not to back MK, considering the circumstances, but maybe stupidly, I'm going to back Solway.
You say I'm stupid?
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, he is. And good job he's in between us. Let's just say that.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to back Solway. I think they've got too many goals in them at the minute, is what I'm thinking. And I think MK's away form is going to catch up with them. So I think Solway, similar to you, I'll go 5-3 to Solway, and I want to say like empty netter at the end, maybe.
Nice. Romford Raiders hosting the Telford Tigers. I think this one is a bit of a tough one to call as well. Face value for me, I'm struggling a bit with this.
I know.
There's a part of me that's just saying like, Romford have been playing alright, like at home, they could get over the line here.
Yeah.
There's just a part of me thinking,
Is Telford?
it's Telford, surely not.
If that Telford
I'm
team
really
turn
like,
up,
I'm
Depends
really...
on the in the team. Like, look at what happened last week when Telford went away.
I know.
The shit man.
Yeah.
And then Romford go and have a 5-4 game against them, but then Telford beat Sheffield. It's mental.
So,
this league's crazy.
Initially, God's honest truth, I was going to go Romford 3-2. But the better side of me has just said, no, you've been a bit of a tool here. So I am going to go with Telford, but I'm going to go 4-2 Telford.
Yeah, I'm going Telford as well. I've got a real soft spot for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
Never guessed.
I know, mate.
You know, of all the teams, Telford isn't a bad team to have a soft spot for.
No.
They're a good little outfit, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm going to go Telford 5-3.
I'm going to go for a point here, and I'm going to go for Romford. I'm going to go 4-2 to Romford. I'm hoping CC and the boys have a bit of a night in front of the net, and hopefully, Romford come through for me.
Nice. Hull Seahawks hosting the Swindon Wildcats. It has been a minute since we've seen Swindon at the Hull Ice Arena.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not, but
We don't want them that way.
there's been times where teams have come to Hull and they just can't get the game going. And it's sort of, there's a part of me just thinking, loyalty to Seahawks and the fact that team's come and just can't get it over the line, it's like, Seahawks beating Swindon, but there's just, again, another part of me is just like, the top of the league, mate, what you doing? They're free scoring, they're beating anybody that seems to come at them, despite having little blips against, Leeds, etc. It's a really tough one to call this, really tough.
So we're going to come to you?
I'll jump in if you want. I don't know why. I'm thinking that they're going to channel first two periods from this weekend, and they're going to channel that Sheffield, a great determination. I'm not going to say that they're going to bang 7 goals past them in the first two periods by any stretch, because we talked about Swindon here. But I'm going to go Seahawks, and I'm going to go Seahawks to win 5-4.
Oh, so I'm going to go Swindon, and I'm going to go for 5-4.
Nice.
I'm also going to go Swindon.
Fair enough, boys.
But the first thing that came to my mind was 6-5.
No.
And I hope it is, and that'll be some night
That'd be bad.
I'll be fuming.
And you know what? If you come out of that, if you come out with a win against the Bison, no offence to the Bison, if figuratively speaking, we all back to them.
Yeah.
Come out with a 2 points for the Bison and a 6-5 against Swindon, I don't think you'd be ultra disappointed at that.
It's
would
some
you?
spectacle that
Yeah,
one. It was a great game to watch. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's me being a total Seahawk bias there. Like,
I love it. I can't wait for that one. That one's going to be class. And then the final game on the Sunday is the Peterborough Phantoms hosting the Basingstoke Bison.
Yeah, so I'll take this one then. I'm going to go for Peterborough Phantoms, and I'm going to say 5-2.
I'm also going to go Peterborough. I'm going to go 4-1.
interesting. I'm also going to back Peterborough as well. I'm going to go for a 6-2 win.
Nice. Does that run us up, or do we need to...
No,
wrap us up next week? That's fair enough.
Weekend after.
Well, that wraps us up then, boys. Here's all the fixtures for the coming week. Another episode in the bag. I think we've worked our juices up a bit there for this coming weekend. There's going to be some belting games, isn't there, like you say, starting off with the second part of the semi-final on Thursday. We're really hoping that it's going to be a Leeds and Sheffield final, so Sheffield, do something for us, please.
No offence, Peterborough.
But yeah, I think it'd be class if it's an all Yorkshire final. That'll be absolutely quality.
Over a weekend.
Oh yeah.
How good would that be?
Oh, it'll be mega.
NIHL, do your business, come on.
Just, push the league.
Yeah.
Put the league fixtures midweek and we'll have this on a weekend.
Hold it on neutral ice at the Hull Ice Arena.
If you want, like, yeah, it's only fair.
It's alright, we'll do that, yeah. But yeah, that wraps up another episode, boys. It's been another good one. Really enjoyed it. We had a good laugh again. The mockery just never seems to stop with each other, does it?
No.
I think we can just say once again a big thank you to everybody for getting involved, liking, subscribing. I think you guys said that we're 20 short of 1,000 followers on our Instagram, so we're really trying to chase that now. So anybody who's liking our stuff at the minute, maybe just watching on the off chance, please subscribe. It does help us a lot, and it would be quite a feat to reach that 1,000 milestone, wouldn't it?
A little silly feature that you can get on Instagram is that you can actually go live on Instagram when you get 1,000 followers. So if you do want to see any more of our ugly mugs, even if it's just a reaction after a game, or if we're going down to a rink or something like that, if you want to see more Slapshot, just get people involved, and the possibilities are endless. But we do want to say a massive thank you for everybody who's got us to this point. Like it's great, and I know you've been not chasing that, but you've been like, would it be great to get to a cane?
Yeah.
Every week you like to give us a little update, so it's cool, isn't it?
Just keeping an eye on it, and it's down to you guys tuning in, and we really appreciate it. We've put in a lot of work, haven't we? The last year since we're doing it, but for the most part, it doesn't feel like work.
No, 1,000% no. It's don't we?
We've all had days where we've all felt a bit down after our normal working days, and we've come here and you're a bit like, I didn't really fancy this tonight, lads, after the day I've had. But then we sort of start recording, we have a bit of a laugh, and it sort of just brings you around a bit more again, doesn't it?
It does.
It just takes
what a great outlet to have.
Yeah, it's great.
So please do keep tuning in. You're our outlet, so it's all on you.
No pressure.
Please watch us.
Thanks for watching once again, and we'll see you in next week's episode.
Slapshot Syndicate, pure ambition. 3 mics, 1 mission. Azza and Rossy, yeah, that's the crew. Dropping knowledge, what you gonna do?